And if I may, can I find it? Oh, we got a great email from a lady talking about the school district where she teaches, the huge budget that goes toward English as a second language. They've closed all the gifted programs for the advanced students. No funding for those. And there are no classroom materials. They've had to fire aides to give more money and more money and more money to the English as a second language department for illegals at a, there it is.
Which has probably got something to do with No Child Left Behind, that you have to bring everybody up to speed and get them through those tests, right?
Let's see what I said. Then the money here, exactly. The money your district has spent on EASL programs, English Second Language children, make most of us cringe in horror. Not to mention all the money the district spent on the teacher training programs to become in compliance with the state bilingual education standards. Now she has no other monies for standard supplies for the remaining 19 English-speaking students in her class.
Wow.
Had to spend all the money on the bilingual program.
So if you go to school at that school and you already speak English because you're in America, you don't learn anything. You're just sitting around while everybody else learns to speak English, which would take a long time.
All right, read this or do some math problems. California teacher goes on to write, I'm in charge of the English as a second language department at the large Southern High School, which is designated a Title I school, meaning its students average lower socioeconomic and income levels. Title I schools are on the free breakfast and free lunch program. Well, they're not free. I pay for them. When I say free breakfast, I'm not talking a glass of milk and a roll, but a full breakfast and cereal bar with fruits and juices that would make a Marriott proud. The waste of the food is monumental, with trays and trays of it being dumped in the trash uneaten.
I'll bet.
I estimate that well over 50% of these students are obese, or at least overweight. About 75% or more have cell phones. The school also
75% of the kids have cell phones, but they're getting meals I pay for.
Right.
Now that's...
breakfast and lunch, including in the summer, year-round.
That is incredible.
The school also provides daycare centers for the unwed teenage pregnant girls, some as young as 13, so they can attend class without the inconvenience of having to arrange for babysitters or having families watch their kids. I was ordered to spend $700,000 on my department or risk losing funding for the upcoming year, even though there was little need for anything. My budget was already substantial. I ended up buying new computers, blah, blah, blah. I had to intervene several times for young and substitute teachers whose classes consisted of many illegal immigrant students here in the country less than 3 months who raised so much hell with the female teachers, calling them putas, and that's whores, and throwing things, that the teachers were in tears.
They got cell phones, but I'm buying their breakfast.
Yeah. Part of the reason they had to buy computers were half of which 1 month after they were bought had been carved with graffiti by the appreciative students who obviously feel humbled and grateful to have free education in America. Free medical also furnished to them, free education, free food, free daycare, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Is it any wonder they feel entitled to not only be in this country, but to demand rights, privileges, and entitlements? As I always say, it's right there in the name.
Who thinks that's a good idea? Nobody thinks that's a good idea, do they? Does anybody think that's a good idea?
It's unbelievable.
I mean, they can't.
Daryl from San Jose with the latest from that fine city.
1-866-331-TALK is our phone number, 1-866-331-TALK. I don't know why that galls me so much, but that particular point really galls me. They have cell phones, but I'm paying for their lunch.
Their breakfast and lunch year-round.
Obviously, there was a day when, as a parent, you would really want to be known as a parent who provide food for your own family. Well, but now, if somebody else will provide the food, cool. That's fine with me.
Why would you make choices, decisions, work to feed your family if somebody else is going to feed your family?
Unbelievable.
It is unbelievable.
I don't know how you go back from this, ever. You're listening to the Armstrong and Getty Show.
To the phone we go, 1-866-331-TALK, just a school teacher. Writing in about all the money spent on English, second language, all these kids with cell phones. They're fat. They get free breakfast and lunch.
Here's my question.
And they're illegals.
Here's my question, and I don't know how...
Why are you scapegoating immigrants?
I don't know how to handle this delicately. Of course, I don't know how to handle anything delicately. But the role that shame plays in society.
Yeah.
What we tried to do over the last generation or so is get away from shame.
Yeah.
Because I remember when I was a little kid, there were some kids at the school, and there was like, I was always at small schools and had small classes, but there was like 4 kids in my entire class of 60, 70 people that had got free lunches. And everybody knew who they were. And it was just, I mean, it was my parents were always big on, they're poor and they can't help it and don't look at it indifferently. Like, okay, so fine. So we all decide they can't afford it. That's cool. We're not going to look down on them. They're no different than us and everything like that. But where we end up is nobody feels bad about taking a free meal from the rest of us.
Right.
And so even if you can afford it, you take advantage of it. It used to be something because you were ashamed. Right. If you could afford it, by God, you were going to afford it because you don't want to be the person who's got a kid who's getting free meals.
Because you're standing there in your neighborhood saying, you pay for me.
Because you just didn't want to be the person that couldn't provide meals for your kid.
Right, because you were ashamed.
But the problem with that, if you don't have shame, and maybe there's a better way to solve this, if you don't have shame involved, everybody just says, why would I pay for the meals if I can get them for free?
Right.
I'd rather buy my kid a cell phone. Let somebody else pay for the meals.
Right.
And that's where we are now.
Right, I'm entitled to it. Daryl in San Jose. Hey, Daryl, how are you?
Good, guys. How you doing?
Good. Fire away.
All right. Well, hey, I just wanted to bring to your attention here in the beautiful Ho, we've got the pinheads in the city council. They're going to follow suit with the L.A. County supervisors next week and vote on a resolution to boycott Arizona.
Shut up, San Jose.
Yep.
Don't you have anything else to do?
I know. We're only broke, and the whole budget's going down the toilet. But yet, that's what we're going to work on.
What some other state is doing to handle their politics.
Nice, Daryl.
Yeah. Anyway.
Do you have any thought of going to the meeting and howling at them or anything?
You bet. I've been shooting emails since I found out about it, and probably going to go howl at my city councilman.
Call after you go. Call us the next morning.
All right, cool.
Yeah, stay in touch, Daryl.
All right, bye.
See you, buddy. It's Ann Anonymous. Hello, Ann. How are you?
Hey, guys. So glad. I love your show.
Thank you.
I come from a lovely county where Jack's wife comes from.
Lake County.
Yes.
Let's leave it nameless for now.
There you go. Hey.
Go on, Ann.
Okay, so last year we gave away, count them, 800 meals a day, breakfast and lunch. And not only, they didn't have to be enrolled at our school, but we start out.
What? The kid doesn't even have to be enrolled in that school?
Just anybody who wanders in, the taxpayers will feed them.
Exactly.
Well, that's a soup kitchen. That's not a school lunch program.
Oh, it gets better. Breakfast and lunch. And not only that, but it was too much trouble to get off their couch and walk to the school, which is a neighborhood school, to pick up their meal.
Oh, no.
So we ran 2 trucks to the welfare apartment complex.
No.
Oh, yes. I'm sure it's going to happen.
So the taxpayers are paying for schools to deliver the meals to people that don't even have kids at the school.
Delivering 800 meals per day.
That can't be true. You have to be making that up.
Per day. Not only that, for the second year, at least in a row, the only summer school that's offered, the only one, is for our second language learners. You can take that whatever you want.
We only have a limited amount of funds these days, so the only summer school for people to catch up is going to be English learners.
Educating people from third world countries is the way we've decided to
snuck into the country. Yeah, very nice. Ann.
Yes. Oh, it's very frustrating. Very frustrating. 800 a day.
Darren Steinberg is going to come to us and say we need higher taxes.
But nobody can be for that. Can there? Is there? Yes. No. Who are they? Who are you that thinks that's a good idea?
Apparently, it's because it's happening.
Well, right. The majority.
I think a lot
of government are for it. And thanks for the call.
I just can't believe anybody's for that. It's got to be one of those things that it's somehow step by step has happened,
and people don't realize it.
But it wasn't supposed to happen. It'd be bad enough if we were delivering free meals to people who had kids in school.
Right.
But the fact that they don't even have kids at the school, no, that's not possible.
Frank, quick as you can, what's on your mind?
These kids don't have money. They need to be fed somewhere. I think it's only proper that the richest country in the world feed these kids that have no other way of feeding themselves. How can you, on your high and mighty horse, I know you're rich.
It is a high and mighty horse. How would you, I certainly wasn't rich when I was a kid.
You're rich now.
So what do you think, are you going to let me talk?
Do you have an argument, a-hole?
What role do you think shame plays in keeping people from why is somebody going to pay for the meal even if they can afford it?
Shame isn't going to feed these kids.
Explain the cell phone thing. They've got a cell phone, but they can't afford the food. Explain that.
could get a cell phone for $5 out there.
You can eat for $5.
You don't have a cell phone and a cell phone plan for $5.
The shame is not going to feed these kids.
How do you have a cell phone but you can't afford to eat?
Wear a helmet, Frank, and call back tomorrow.
Yeah, please do call back. I would like to talk to you longer. 1-866-331-TALK. No, you can't call now. You can call tomorrow. 1-866-331-TALK.
Write it down.
You are listening to the Armstrong and Getty Show.